All right, now let's talk about technique of swing. We've talked about identification, about getting to the ball and positioning yourself quickly and effectively. Now it's all about picking out what type of swing to use. And you've got two main choices. And which one you use depends on where you're making contact, how close you are to the net, and how high you're able to make contact. And this is where the quickness of your reaction and the quickness of your footwork is crucial, because you're going to find that the higher you make contact and the closer you are, the easier you can attack at your opponent's side of the court. For example, I'm right at 6 feet tall. Right now I'm standing on the service line, and from right here, I can look over the top of the net and see from the service line back on my opponent's side of the court. That means if I make contact at eye height with a shot from here, whether it be a forehand or a backhand, I can directly hit to anywhere in no man's land on my opponent's side of the court. That's 18 feet of space from the service line to the baseline. That's a big chunk of court. On the other hand, if I take 3 steps back from here at eye height, I can only see about the last 4, maybe 5 feet of court on that side. So from back here, I have to make the choice technique-wise to now start to curve my shot a little bit more. From up here, from the service line or forward, if I'm making contact at shoulder height, I can pretty much flatten out my shot and start to hit directly at my opponent's side. And that means that I'm going to set my shot up. My racket's really not going to drop any lower than where I make contact. So if I am making contact at shoulder height, that means I'm going to set my racket up, only drop it to about shoulder height, then rotate forwards and make contact and finish straight out towards my target before I come across my body. I'm going to drive directly through the ball at my target with a flat racket face and extend out towards that part of the court. On the other hand, if I'm back just 3 or 4 steps, again, from back here I've got much less room to be able to hit to. So now I've got to start to drop the racket a little bit lower, even if I'm still making contact at that same height. And now I've got to start to lift and hit a little bit of topspin so that my shot has some shape to it, so it has some safety. Just because you have a short ball doesn't mean that you just have, carte blanche to go ahead and just start blasting flat shots. This is where most players make their mistakes. No matter what they get, they're like, oh, it's like green light, and they just start blasting away, regardless of height or where they're standing. I'll tell you what, even if you're up here, if you're making contact below waist height, if I get down here, I can't see any of my opponent's side over the net. From here, I have to curve my shot. This is the biggest thing for you to practice at home. Practice different heights of contact from different spots on the court, and practice responding with the correct shape of shots. If you can see the other side, then you can start to go ahead and hit flat and start to hit harder and hit through it. Just because it's low doesn't mean that you have to hit softly, by the way. You can still accelerate. Just make sure that you're dropping your racket, hitting up past the ball, and this is whether it's a forehand or a backhand, so that you're giving the shot some shape, so it has some curve to it, some topspin, to bring it back down into the court again. These are the most important technical factors as far as your swing technique is concerned. And again, my biggest piece of advice to you is to practice. And we're going to talk more about that a little bit further down within these videos.